A lot of people say that the dynamic island is useless. And that's because those types of people haven't watched this video. And that's because in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the dynamic island on your iPhone really useful. Now, before I show you my favorite apps for you to take the full potential of the dynamic island, I wanted to show you this right here. I've actually programmed the action button within the dynamic island, so you can see, to actually show me certain things that I've programmed it to do. Now, how have I done this? Well, I've actually made an entire video about it. Links are down below in the description, but I just wanted to show you that. So yeah, if you want to know how to do it yourself, links are down below in the description. I mean, watch that video after you watch this one, okay? Okay, let's talk apps. Offscreen is an app that I actually like a lot. It basically gives you an overview on how much time you're actually using your phone throughout the day. But a feature that I like about it is this right here, focus. So there's a bunch of things you can do, from setting up a Pomodoro timer or setting down, a countdown, which is honestly what I love to do the most. Let's say, I really want to focus for 30 minutes. Let's say 35. You can start to focus. As you can see, a timer has automatically started. And look what happens if I go. The dynamic island automatically shows up and it's actually counting down for you to focus. And what's cool about it is that if you actually hold, you can actually see how the timer is going. It's a very cool way for you to focus. Apart from that, let's go ahead and stop it and finish it. You can tap on the Pomodoro timer as well. You can start to focus, and the same thing will do for the Pomodoro timer. So, okay, focus on studying. So whenever you're working, you can quickly glance on your phone and see how much time is left. And the same thing goes to the live activities. So right on your lock screen, you can see how you're doing. So you don't even need to use the dynamic island. It also works for live activities. Up here in the top is where you can actually change. So depending if you want to do a working session, or you can create a new tag, for example. You can change the emojis if you want. You can change the goal. So if you want to do this daily, it will actually give you a reminder. Hey, how much time do you actually want to focus? Reminder over here, what time do you want to be reminded every single day? Do you want to be reminded every single day, or just the weekends or the days? And you can actually sync to mindfulness. So, there's a bunch of things you can do, but most importantly, it adopts a dynamic island. Next up is an app that I actually found on Twitter. It's called Score Spot, and you can basically follow your favorite teams and you can see how they're doing. It will give you notifications on when someone scores. But what's cool about it is the widget. You can actually press track, and look what happens when you press track. The dynamic island automatically appears, and you can actually follow live a soccer game. So if, right now they aren't playing, and if you actually hold on the dynamic island, it will tell you matches starting in 3 days and 2 hours. So once the game actually starts, it will actually update the dynamic island. Barcelona is winning against Real Sociedad, for example. And same thing goes to the live activities on your iPhone. Now, you know that I love coffee, and I've talked about this app quite a lot recently. Hi Coffee will basically keep me up to date. I can actually track my caffeine intake throughout my day. As I showed you before, if I actually use the action button, I can actually log a coffee directly from there. As you can see, cappuccino has been logged. Now, what's cool about Hi Coffee is if you actually go into settings and coffee boost, this is something quite interesting that I actually love. You can actually start a coffee boost. So let's say I just drank a coffee. It will actually give me how much time the caffeine will actually leave my body. So as you can see, 2 hours and 9 minutes till the caffeine actually leaves my body. It's currently 6:58, so it's pretty useful that I can see, hey, at 9:07 p.m., technically the coffee that you just drank will leave your body around 9:07 p.m. Let's say it was like 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. Well, now you know why you aren't sleeping properly. So if you actually love drinking coffee, I say Hi Coffee is a must, especially for this coffee boost feature. I think it's pretty neat. Let me tell you about today's sponsor, which is this crazy 13-in-1 Basis USB-C hub. Yeah, you heard that right. 13 ports. This hub will allow you to connect 2 HDMI ports, 1 display port, 1 VGA port, SD and micro SD card slot, USB 3.1, headphone jack, and a bunch more. Now, what's cool about this guy, apart from the build quality that is stunning and this braided cable, is that you've got super fast data transfer speed, so you can easily transfer like large media files, including movies and photos, with 10 gigabits of speed. You can also connect with a super stable and fast Ethernet connection. This hub also supports 4K 120 Hz monitors, and when using the display port with one display, you can enjoy high resolution 4K at 120 Hz while gaming, and you can also use a triple display setup when connected through HDMI, DisplayPort, or VGA all at the same time. I mean, here's the thing. If you want some cheap and crappy USB-C hubs, go for it. But if you actually want a reliable and good quality and stable and 4K and 120 hertz displays. So stop wasting your money on crappy cheap USB-C hubs that you found randomly on eBay and invest in a Basis 13-in-1 hub. This guy is a total must. Now next up is GentlerStreak. GentlerStreak is another app that I've mentioned quite a lot before in the channel. Let me go ahead and start a quick strength training workout and you'll see why I'm doing this. Because as you can see on the bottom of my phone, it's now telling me strength training, mirror tracking. Now what's cool about this, let's say I'm working out on my watch, because as you can see, something has just popped up in the bottom of the app. I can actually mirror the tracking of my Apple Watch to my iPhone, which means if I swipe up, the dynamic island will now grow and it will actually show me what my current heart rate is, the current timer, the calories that I've burned, and my GentlerStreak goal. Same thing goes to live activities, and if you actually tap, it will mirror the actual screen. So, I mean, I'm not saying that the GentlerStreak app is better than the workout app on the watch, but it's definitely better than the one on the iPhone because there's no workout app on the iPhone. On GentlerStreak, there is, and you get the dynamic island here, and it's available with a bunch of different workouts from swimming, from running, all the ones that you could imagine. It's pretty cool. Now, if you want to take your dynamic island to the next level, you need to check out this game, which basically lets you play with your dynamic island. The whole goal here is to actually hit the dynamic island. So I'm going to try and hit it. Let's see if we can actually hit it. Boom, there you go. As you can see, I've now gotten a point. I mean, it's a really random game, but it's so fun, and you actually take the full potential of the dynamic island. Isn't this fun? Boom! There, and it now gets harder every time. Oh, I just lost. Sad. Next up is Flighty, and if you love traveling, I'm sure you've heard about it. It actually won Design of the Year. You basically load your booking code, your flight, into Flighty, and it will give you all the info that you need, including your seat info, good to know, so like the weather, arrival forecast, so if the probability that your plane will actually be early, where your plane currently is, what type of plane it is, a detailed timeline, a gate departure, the takeoff time, gate arrival on arrival time. Let's say you're flying with United, it will give you their phone number, their website, their Twitter, their Facebook, basically all the info that you need to know. But once again, what's cool about it is the dynamic island. There's two reasons on why the dynamic island on Flighty is useful. One, when you're at the airport, it will constantly give you an update on where your gate is directly on your lock screen, so you can see, oh, hey, I have to go to gate B2. And reason number two and why it's useful, well, once you're actually inside of the plane, you can actually see it even works offline. So whenever you don't have internet connection, you can see how much time is left for you to finally arrive at your destination. Once again, without an internet connection. And then we've got Box Club. If you love the Formula One, stick around because the dynamic island will actually show you how your race is currently going. So here we can actually see who's first, second, and third within the interval times as well, what lap the race is currently on, and where they're actually racing. And what's super cool about it is the actual live activity will actually show you a little race car going through the race, including the lap info. I think it's pretty neat. So those are all the apps that I personally use to make the dynamic island really useful. But here's the thing, if you want to learn how to do this, well, you know what to do. You can click on this video and make your action button actually really useful. I mean, if I were you, I'd do it. I mean, look at this. I can now call Chenya. See, I can call her directly from my dynamic island. Isn't that cool?